Henry Leverett just blew out John Bees in the finals of the Ultimate Kickoff Challenge, the first live event of the year. And he did so with a defense we really haven't seen at the comp level. It's kind of been like sprinkled in, talked about a little bit here and there, but really haven't seen this defense be ran at the top of the level. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about exactly how I think Henry ran this defense. So let's go ahead and get into practice mode and break it down. So for the most part of this tournament, Henry was in the nickel wide defense. I believe that he is in the Jacksonville Jaguars defense playbook. Now, the defense that Henry ran to get into this event was this 3-3 double mug. This was his most popular defense, and he actually kind of adapted this defense to this nickel wide. Now, just to kind of break everything down here, I'm going to show you the basic mechanics of his 3-3 double mug and then how he kind of cross applied that knowledge into his nickel wide defense. Now, the other thing is John was in the Bunch X Nasty, so we're going to be going up against Bunch X Nasty here. And if you guys want to learn more about any of these defenses I talk about, I have full mini schemes on all this stuff in our school community, school.com/Cody Ballard. That link is going to be in the description below. So 3-3 double mug here, and really what Henry would do is essentially set his shell to cover 2. And then typically these were the coach adjustments. He might have this disabled. He might not 100% sure. But option read key conservative, aggressive, conservative, conservative. Might have put the hooks on 5. Might have left them on default. Not 100% sure. But then pretty standard, close and pinch, right? Now, what Henry would do out of this defense is he would have a send 5, and then he would have like coverage shells off of the send 5. So by having the cover 2 shell on, he could come out in mid blitz, but it would look like a cover 2. So you'll see here, if I audible to cover 2, it pretty much looks almost identical as if I'm in mid blitz. However, if I audible from cover 2 to mid blitz, you're going to see that it looks a little bit different, right? Now, the main thing that Henry would do when he was running this defense is he would spread his D-line, spread his linebackers, and then he would typically use her like right in here. And essentially, he would send a 5-man blitz like this, and then he would obviously do different adjustments, right? For example, one of the things he might do is he might scissor the left side, right? Different things that he would do. Now, what he would do is he would hold, he would up on the D-pad, and then he would hold down, and he would be able to engage and then peel off into coverage. And this was kind of the main blitz that he was running, and really the main blitz that you saw a lot of pro players running really after watching him play. So that was kind of the main concept of the defense. Now, the next thing that he would do is if he ever wanted to send 4, then he would just basically call that cover 2, because again, it looks basically the same because of the shell feature. And then he would go into that Texas 4-man, and then basically from there, he could make whatever adjustments that he wanted to make situationally like this. Now you might be blocking a running back, and now he's just sitting 4, and that Texas 4-man is super good when you spread the linebackers out. So that's one of the other things, that he would do within his defense. And then really the other major thing that he would do is he would spread, and then he would just leave the defensive line on their blitz angles or slant them inside and QB contain. Those are all different ways that he would do this. But now, again, kind of same thing. You're setting up a pass pro for the base, the blitz, but he's actually in a coverage defense. One of the big principles is obviously making everything look the same. So those are the core mechanics of how he wanted to run his 3-3 double mug defense. And really, he took that information and basically cross-applied that to this nickel wide. Now, the reason that this nickel wide is so good, and the reason why I believe that he ultimately ran it, was really for 2 reasons. Number one, the main way that you would block a Texas 4-man stunt, you're not really able to do that against a nickel wide. Number 2, and more importantly, the main blitz that he was going to use actually allowed for him to create better contain against a mobile quarterback because of how the blitz would come in. So the mid blitz in nickel wide is actually this Overstorm Brave. So as you see here at the bottom, I've already set my shell to cover 2, and that's really, for my money, the only blitz that you would realistically see Henry run. And I'll talk about why, because I'm going to come out in Overstorm Brave, but then I'm going to like audible here to cover 2. You'll see that when I audible to cover 2, a couple things. Number one, this player moves out, which is not as big of a deal. But the other thing here is if you spread your D line and show blitz and blitz his linebacker, you see how he blitzes into the A gap. But whenever I run the Texas four-man stunt, you see how his blitz angle changes, and now he's blitzing outside. This was a major deal because you really want that blitz to go inside. So I believe that when Henry was blitzing, he was primarily using this Overstorm Brave. And so again, the main setup here is to show blitz. He doesn't show blitz his whole team. He just show blitzes his linebackers, I believe. So we'll see if I can actually get that. Might have to reset things, and then we'll show that real quick. And then we'll talk about the blitzing aspect of it. So essentially, you're going to show blitz your linebackers, spread your defensive line, and it looks like this. Now, as you see, whenever I go to the Texas four-man or the Texas, Henry really wouldn't run the Texas four-man. He ran it a little bit, but not very much. He would run the left Texas two-man stunt when he ran to run the blitz. So it looked like this right here. Now, what you're going to see is he would still come over the center like this, and he would basically engage his user with the center, and then he would peel off into coverage. So you see here, engaged user, and you see how fast that pressure comes in at the quarterback right through the middle of the defense. You also could, in theory, do this if you didn't, like you could run it just straight down. But the other thing here is you see this. This right here was one of the big reasons why I think he was in this defense. Because he's able to stunt and get this pressure, then because John was using Michael Vick, he can't roll out because as you see, he's got that outside leverage on that defensive end. So that's a big piece of the defense. Now the other thing here is, let's say that Henry was going to run a Texas four-man stunt, and he was going to basically show the blitz but play coverage. The best way to block the Texas stunt is to double team the defensive end. As you see here, I can't double team either side defensive end, so I can't really do my protection here. And so because of that, I'm basically left, with my base protection, maybe a slide protection, which is risky. And so it makes this Texas four-man consistently a way better defense because you're able to get pressure with that Texas four-man just like that. Now, the other thing here is, let's say he wanted to send the blitzers straight down. So if he wanted to send the blitzers straight down, then he could do this out of really any defense. He doesn't need to be an Overstorm Brave if he's sending the blitz like this, because what you're going to see here is you're still going to get that A-gap blitz angle. It's only on the Texas four-man stunt that you're not. So he can sit here, he can engage, he can get that blitzer to come in, and then, he still has pretty decent contain off of the outside. The other thing about Overstorm Brave is it's a symmetrical kind of look to a degree. And so let's say that he wanted to send it off of this side, which we actually saw him do against John, so that he could get a little bit more coverage on the field. For example, he might be able to drop this guy into a flat zone or whatever. He could do this. And, again, the biggest thing here is just engaging. And you see also that I think this blitz comes in significantly faster than it does against other things. And this is great for when they five out, which is really the primary purpose of this, to get some pressure when they five out and then get them to block the running back. And then once they block the running back, really what you're looking to do is you're just looking to send this basic four-man rush right here, nothing too crazy, but this is, kind of the base way that you really want to play, because the sheds are really good. Because you're nickel wide, the contain is really good. And if you get them to consistently block their running back, you are going to have a lot of success on the defensive side of the ball. So this is how I think that Henry was running the nickel wide defense. If you guys want my version of the defense, it's broken down in our school community. I've got a huge scheme in there on that already. And if you want to sign up, that link is in the description down below.